I'm Max Pringle with these headlines. Majority Leader Steve Scalise and far-right Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan have thrown their hats in the ring in the contest to replace ousted House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. They're expected to be joined in the race by Kevin Hern. He's chair of the Republican Study Committee, the largest GOP caucus in the House. Sagar Magani has more.
The fractured GOP majority has to pick Kevin McCarthy's successor. First, Louisiana's Garrett Graves says it needs to let the anger over his removal subside.
Letting people go home and kind of decompress a little bit's a good idea.
Many Republicans have left town, awaiting what may be votes on a new speaker next week. Majority Leader Steve Scalise is in line, but faces a challenge from conservative favorite Jim Jordan.
Are you planning to run for the speaker position? No, we are. Yeah, we are.
Others are likely to emerge, and Texas's Chip Roy says the internal debate continues.
We just need a strong speaker, a strong leader.
Asked his advice for whomever wins?
That's a public pay grade.
While President Biden wouldn't weigh in, Senate Democratic Chief Chuck Schumer did.
Think carefully about what happened to your predecessors.
Saying John Boehner, Paul Ryan, and McCarthy coddled the hard right.
Each of your predecessors got burnt each time.
Sagar Magani, Washington.
The trial of former President Trump and his two sons on charges of fraudulent business practices continues today in a Manhattan courtroom. Trump has claimed without evidence that the lawsuit is motivated by political concerns. Julie Walker reports.
Donald Trump showed up for the first 3 days of his civil trial, even though he didn't have to come to court until he testifies, and was defiant.
The corrupt attorney general sued me for fraud.
And
they made up a fake case.
State Attorney General Letitia James says the lawsuit against Trump lays out how he inflated the worth of his assets.
The Donald Trump show is over. This was nothing more than a political stunt.
Meanwhile, Trump's accountant testified that the former president supplied the figures for financial statements, but on cross-examination, defense lawyers pinned the blame on that accountant. Trump's attorneys are also appealing the judge's pretrial ruling that he inflated assets. At the courthouse in Manhattan, I'm Julie Walker.
President Biden has outlined a new round of federal student loan forgiveness. He says it's intended to address what he calls the unsustainable debt that students accumulate to complete their college education. More from Christopher Martinez.
Biden says the actions are fixes to student loan programs, a public service loan forgiveness program, and another program that links loan repayments to income. The action also cancels student debt for people with total and permanent disabilities. The moves come after the Supreme Court had blocked Biden's original student debt relief plan.
We're on the verge of providing more than 40 million Americans with real relief from their student debt.
He took a swipe at Republican lawmakers that have opposed his student debt relief plans, noting that some of them received pandemic relief for business owners.
Let's be clear. Some of the same elected Republicans or members of Congress who were strongly opposed to giving relief to students got hundreds of thousands of dollars in relief for themselves to keep their businesses open.
Reporting for Pacifica Radio News KPFA, I'm Christopher Martinez.
A memorial service will be held today at 1 p.m. at San Francisco City Hall for the late U.S. Senator and former Mayor Dianne Feinstein. Vice President Kamala Harris and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer will be among those delivering remarks. Feinstein's body lay in state at the City Hall rotunda. Hundreds of mourners filed past her flag-draped coffin as an honor guard from the Sheriff's Department stood vigil. Feinstein passed away last week at age 90. She'd been suffering from a number of health issues in recent years. Feinstein became the city's first female mayor when she took over in 1978 after the assassinations of Mayor George Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk. She would go on to serve 30 years in the Senate. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said she was a passionate advocate for the causes she believed in.
If she believed the cause or the vote was right and vital to many issues she cared about, she not only voted for it, there was no stopping her in getting it done.
Those are the news headlines. I'm Max Pringle.